Hello. Totally forgot to warn everyone. There we go. What's poppin', guys? Hey, Jeff. Thank you, dude. Appreciate it. We'll get started shortly after we listen to this amazing song. All right. All right. Thank you, Weedus. Shout out to Weedus. Welcome, everyone. Feedback time. You know what time it is. How we all doing? So, 43 people entered, if that's correct. And we got 12 finishers. 12 finishers. I thought we'd have more finishers, honestly, but um, yeah, pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Um, yeah, hopefully you guys don't take my model and sell it on like Sketchfab or some shit. So, anyways, let's get started. We'll start with Nolly. Nolly? Let's take a look. Gotta get into the feedbacking mindset here. All right. Okay. All right. This one's cool. I have a few things to say about it. Can I draw? There we go. So one thing I'll say right off the bat is this polymer. It's not really working. It looks really flat here. Also, I'd probably toss a lot of these random scratches. They look kind of fake and fillery. But something about the plastic, just not quite looking right. I feel like this normal you have there, it kind of like looks like my wall stucco, you know, right here. Not really a fan of how that's being handled. It could also be the lighting. I don't think the lighting is doing much better. Although up here the plastic bits look much better, but I think down here something's up with this. It may not be glossy enough. It may not be maybe too dark. I'm not too sure really. Um, we've got some good stuff on it. I think some of the dirt is kind of cool. These specs are really bright. I'd probably toss these. Um, as far as the rubber goes, I think the rubber kind of sticks out as like being way too worn and damaged compared to the material right next to it. Also, these scratches, you got to be careful when you're applying fill layers on something because you'll get the butterfly effect. Um, this type of stuff doesn't look too hot, especially with linear scratches like this. I'd probably toss those completely. Um, some of the surface wear here looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Um, this doesn't really feel like it was exported in 4K. It feels a little low res. Um, some of the rust doesn't look like rust. I think it almost looks like the metallic value is set to 1 on these rust areas. It looks like exposed like copper underneath it. I'm not too sure. Excuse me. It's again same thing with kind of the linear scratches. Looks very looks very CG and very fake. You do stuff like that. I think there's too much of this stuff kind of randomly placed on the gun in areas. Um, yeah, it's like all over the place, and it doesn't kind of just feels like random. Let's take a look at some other renders. Yeah, I'm not a fan of these scratches at all. They're going over everything, and they just feel very random. I can see a seam or something right here. I don't think that's. I think that's from the textures. Yeah, this feels very low res. I don't think it's supposed to be this low res. Um, I didn't have you guys export 2K, did I? Yeah, no, I had you guys exporting 4K, so I'm not really sure why it's looking super low res there. Les Paul 10 out of 10, dude. I don't even know how to play that damn thing. That's my brother's. He gave up, so he gave it to me. I don't even know how to play the damn thing. I could play the intro of TNT. That's about it. I can see a seam here. Not looking great. Um, yeah, it's just this rust stuff feels very random. I'm not really a fan of how that stuff was applied. Um, see, from some angles, the rubber or the plastic looks great, but I think, yeah, I think the lighting is super harsh. Also, we're getting like super dark values in areas, and I think maybe it's like not PBR correct there. Let's take a look at the tan version. We're kind of getting the same thing. Also, you can kind of see like some tiling almost. Um, yeah, the specs again kind of stand out a little too much. Um, Radiant. Like I like that name, Radiant. Um, I see what you're doing here in the cavities. It's kind of cool, but it's like super perfect. It's like dark light, dark light, dark light, and it just makes it look kind of fake almost. Here there's a lot, way too much noise. Also, I can see a seam here. Way too much noise. Um, yeah, unfortunately, when you have like really fine metallic details and not a lot of resolution, you get this kind of like border around things. I think that's from the metal rough stuff, that classic metal rough error. And just too much scratches. Like I feel like I know where this scratch stuff came from. The fill layer I know. Um, I will say, some of this stuff looks kind of cool. The metallic has got a nice like highlight to the specular beneath it, but um, yeah, it's a little. I think it's a little too cloudy and random. I think. I feel like maybe a edge generator was used here, and then like some purlin noises were kind of slapped on it. Okay. I will say I like how you did the scratching here. It looks pretty nice. The like vertical scratching stuff. I can see a seam here. Mm, kind of the same thing. I think an edge generator was used here. I think it would have been real nice if you used like a nice stencil to get like a cool chip here and some scrapage here. But yeah, overall it's looking pretty good. Still looking low res. Should have exported out in 4K. I know we can get better res from. Yeah, I know we can get some better res out of this. One thing I'll say about the mag is it feels very cloudy and random. Um, doesn't really feel like this stuff was kind of applied with intention. It feels like more so it's like a grunge, like a bunch of grunge maps kind of overlaid. Oh, my camera's over there. Like overlaid in funkier kind of ways. Um, it's okay. I noticed this was mirrored. Did I mirror this? I remember mirroring this. Oh, by the way, my power may go out in the middle of this, just FYI. Um, but I think that's about all I got. Uh, the barrel looks nice from a distance, but I think when you kind of zoom in, you get a little bit too much low res stuff. Maybe I would have liked to see more aging on the barrel. You can like add like oxidization stuff inside that blue stuff that like crusts up. Yeah, a lot of this stuff looks good at from a distance, but when you zoom in, I think it's just too low res. Overall, pretty good. Pretty good. I think your best render. I think this one's probably your best. Yeah, I like this render right here. I think this is probably your best render. Nice job. Thank you for participating. Next up, we got Larry Chev. Shout out to Larry Chev. I like that name. And we've got some good stuff here. Let me make sure. I just want to make sure I got all your submission. Yeah, this looks like. Let me just quickly organize these. There we go. Cool. All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look. A lot of noise here in the render. I asked specifically for less noise, but that's all right. A lot of noise here. Not sure what's going on there. I'm not sure I like that. I can't really judge this render, unfortunately. Just kind of too much noise. I can't really see what's the material and what's not. So keep that in mind for next time. That's kind of why I included that little tidbit. Don't render with so much noise because this I can't really see what's going on here. Unfortunately, I can't judge that render. Ooh, looking good. Cool. Nice fingerprint. Nice. Some individuals will get very mad at you. Nice wear on this. Nice job. Oh, I also noticed that a couple of people added these ribbings to the magazine. That's pretty cool. Like the like a different HK magazine. That's cool. I like that. Creative. Excuse me. This is a really nice render right here. A little hard to judge the textures though, I will say. This one as well. It's a little hard to judge the textures. They're very zoomed out. The chromatic aberration is killing us here. Yeah, it's a little hard to judge the textures there. These renders are almost like blurry. Hmm. Right. Yeah, too. All right, let's take a look at some of these areas. I like what you got going on here. Not really a fan of these red specks, whatever's going on there. I think the plastic might be a tad bit too glossy. Probably not. I think this text is cool. Yeah, very low resolution renders. Very low resolution, not helping a whole lot. Yeah, this stuff is cool. Yeah, all that's pretty sweet. Looks pretty nice too. Mm. I feel like there's, man, much noise. I can't tell. But I feel like you have like some Perlin noise pattern going on that's just too strong. I feel like it's not really helping you. It feels kind of like it's making the material feel like plastic a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I'm struggling to judge these renders here. Let's move on to this one. I think this is too much noise. I think too grainy. I think you should have simplified it a little bit and gone for like a smoother appearance with like just maybe some like height bumps here and there, but I feel like it's almost just too noisy. Um, Man, I feel like these renders are like 720p. This, hold on. Doesn't feel right. Yeah, that's the max res. Right. Um, yeah, maybe too much surface noise, and then oh, I can see your stencil stretching here, by the way. I feel like this is not PBR correct. It could be the lighting, but it looks like almost metallic, like anodized metal on it. Not really sure how that works. Um, yeah, I'm not really a fan of this tiling Perlin noise. It's much too strong. Um, I noticed this text was mirrored. Did I mirror the magazine? I don't remember mirroring the mag. Huh. I don't remember mirroring that magazine, but anyways. It looks cool. I think you could have pushed like some more dirt in some of these cavities. The surface itself feels kind of flat compared to its counterparts right next to it. It feels very, very smooth, almost like. Also, it almost feels like we're kind of out of focus here. Yeah, I think maybe the DOF is a little strange on some of these renders. Um, Also, one thing, if you zoom in, there's no difference between the normal map grains going on here, so I would definitely focus on differentiating the normal maps because this is not supposed to look like this. Also, you have a scratch going straight through this, excuse me, this crevice here. Not really a fan of that. Kind of the same thing here. The red is too bright, much too bright there. What's going on down here? Not sure I like this little stipple pattern you added. I think we don't get a good view of it, but is this in one of the references? I guess it works for like an old HK gun where they just kind of would slap it on there, but yeah, I guess it's cool. It's not the end of the world there. I will say I like some of the wear you got going on here. I wish more of it was kind of in focus. Yeah, I really want to see a lot of this wear in high resolution. Because it has like some nice shapes to it, but I don't think we can see that very well. But kind of like the edge wear you got going on here. It might be a little too linear, but I think it's fine. Some of this stuff is pretty cool too. Yeah, so I think overall I would definitely like vary up some of the normal grains that you got going on because it feels very samey throughout. I will say I like this area you got going on here based on this kind of low resolution render. And I like this orange decal. Yeah, when you zoom out, you can see is that getting picked up on stream? You can see the rainbow crust from chromatic aberration. Just very subtle chromatic aberration needs to be, not that strong. Anyways, I think I'll move on. I think I've said all I can say on this one. Yeah, I won't lie, a little too hard to judge for this one. Plastic looks nice, I think. I can see like a seam here. Yeah, maybe if you submit some higher resolution renders, I'll be able to help you out a little bit more. But I will say this stuff looks cool. But again, the normal map just kind of reads the same throughout all these different materials when a lot of these references have very different grains from here to here. So like here is a lot more subtle than here. Is the reference on screen? Yeah, the reference. Whereas this one down here has like a milling type of pattern. But anyway. Also, this is supposed to be a lot less grainy, I thought. I don't know if I have a good reference of it somewhere. But I think some people attached references in other places, but I remember this being a lot like kind of one of those smooth, rubbery plastics. But anyways, I think this is probably your best render here. And let's move on. Thank you for submitting. All right, Susan, let's do it. Go, Susan. All right. All right. Oh, so right off the bat, I know what grunge you're using here. I can tell. Also, this edge wear is like very perfect. It's the wear on the stock is either on this edge or it's perfectly clean. You know, so there's no like contrast between this edge and then like some wear over here. So I would definitely add some like subtle scratches because right here, you know, it looks perfect. Then you move 2 centimeters to the right, and it's like this thing came from like Chernobyl, you know. So, yo, thanks for the sub, dude. Appreciate it. We're gonna start a hype train. Plastic's looking good. I feel like the render's kind of blowing it out here. I think the lighting is like too direct on these surfaces, so it's kind of blowing it out. Let's take a look at some other. I think we overly sharpened here. This fingerprint is too perfect. Also, your finger doesn't really like wrap around the trigger here. Your your finger would probably stop like, at least like the fat from your finger would probably stop like right here. Even with, if you're like, I mean, I guess you could like wrap your finger around it, but that'd be kind of weird. The stencil on the F looks a little odd. This is the bottom is like extended too far out. Something about this piece feels PBR not correct. Also, right here, can't do that. We got a perfect linear edge generator. Careful with that. Same thing here. You've got a linear edge generator with just like a multiply stacked on top. Also, you wouldn't have brushing on this magazine. And the reason being is that this magazine is like stamped the way that it's built, so you wouldn't have this. I don't think you'd have this brushing, for lack of a better explanation. Some of these details feel out of resolution. This detail here feels super blurry compared to the resolution up here. So try to balance that out. And just, you want to get the most resolution out of everything. I can see your perfect edge tracing here. I can see a scratch generator or something going on here, along with an edge generator. This piece here looks a lot like plastic right next to it. It's supposed to be a metal. I can see some sort of a seam going on here. Something's up with this piece. I think this piece is like too matte, too grungy. Something about it is not very, doesn't shine the way a metal should. You've also got the scratches stuff going on. Okay. Milling lines are always cool. Let's move on to a different render, I think. Yeah, so when you're rendering, I think you always got to watch out for like pitch black areas, because that just, we lose all of the information in that area. And it also leads me to believe that something isn't right with this material. Something like either the metallic is set to 1 when it shouldn't be, or these oils are just much too dark, glossy type of stuff. I can see your edge tracing again. A lot of this wear is just kind of speckly. It doesn't really have any like shape to it. You don't really see that. You'd see like a noticeable scrape or something, you know. Perfect edge generator. All right. You see where your references are coming from here? That's cool. Ooh, this stuff is not looking good. This stuff is looking very out of place, very too strong, much too strong here. Also, the gloss details look kind of low res as well. This whole piece right here, the gloss is very random. You've got like these like random splotches in these 4 sections here. Doesn't really make sense. I don't think, you know. Try to think of like how this something is. Try to think of how how the oils and details are supposed to be, you know, organically placed on something. Hydrate and posture check. Good call. Good call. I'm running low on water. All right. You've got horizontal brushing colliding with vertical brushing, making tic-tac-toe. See if we can find a place to play tic-tac-toe. It's too small, but yeah, so always try to stick with one way. It's either one way or the other. Might have overly sharpened some of this. I think the gradient here, the color gradient, it's kind of, you don't really see it, especially on something that's like black. You wouldn't, also I can see the kind of cross stitching going on here. But this happens on like silver metals, you know, on like a, let me look at silver burned exhaust. This is what you were kind of referencing, I think. Like, this only happens on like silver when it's like a black metal, it just like burns the barrel. It doesn't do like a color gradient, I think. Let's move on to this version. The tan version, I think, needs some work. I feel like we have like some sort of metallic value going on here. I don't think it should be. This fingerprint is really small. I like that you're wearing out the edge of the plastic. I like that. I wish you would put more detail into like maybe showing how this paint was put on there, you know? Because we're getting some like kind of weird seams in areas. And it's all just kind of a linear edge generator. I wish you would put like something's up with this piece here. Looks like the normal map isn't applied. It's just kind of flat. It's very flat. There's no. The surface variation is very cloudy. There's no like highlights that I'm like drawn to. I can tell you used a warp filter on this. I would have just probably left it linear. Yeah, this is not looking good. This like metal, but it's like a UV border generator. I think you forgot. I think the normal's flipped on this. This grain is much too big and strong. I think it needs to be a lot finer. Also, yeah, something's up with the normal map here. This black stuff is looking pretty low res. So I'm not really a fan of this version. I think you did a lot better on the black version. I will say the plastic looks nice here though. Banana. Same thing, just kind of looks low res. You know, you don't really see stickers wear like this. You kind of see it like you start to scrape off or they start to like, I don't know, like peel and then the color gets scraped off, but it could do that, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, overall, I think it's this version needs a lot more work. I think. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all I got for this one. I think this is probably your best render. Yeah. Double check the PBR values. Something seems wrong about these guys. Make sure that I don't think they're supposed to be full metal at all. Could be, but usually when you see details like that become like super dark on something, it's kind of an indicator that something is not quite working with the PBR. Also, be careful where you're just kind of throwing scratches down, because it just kind of runs straight into this crevice here. Be careful with that. This detail here feels very low resolution. Tickets to. I think you have nice like color separation in the materials, but this is looking a little too grungy. But we want to move on. Let's move on. Thank you for participating. We got Jose Luis Pellegrino. What's up, man? A lot of noise in this render. All right. Okay. Ooh. All right. All right. Thank you for the follow, Fox. Appreciate it. All right, let's take a look at this render right here because this is a pretty good example of what I want to talk about and kind of a recurring theme that I'm seeing from these textures. So this grain and 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 this grain, this grain, this grain, this grain, this grain all look identical. They look extremely similar. And they are super strong. They're very strong, at least in this render. So when we zoom in, here, it's almost given me that that like phobia of when you have like when you look at like holes in something. What's up, Mohammed? It's giving me that. It looks like we've got Swiss cheese going on. Looks almost like pulled this out of like a nuclear war zone or something. Same thing here, super strong. There's very little material separation between these two materials. When we zoom in here and we zoom in here, it almost looks like Netherrack from Minecraft. In fact, we can kind of see a creeper face. Creeper? Sorry. But yeah, I think when we make materials, we got to think about each channel. There's four channels. You've got the normal, you've got the gloss, specular or metalness, and then your color channel. And I don't think we did a good job separating out the normal channel. It all kind of bleeds together. Same here. There's almost nothing telling me that this isn't plastic right here compared to that. I will say this is the tan version, right? I will say yeah, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. I think the colors are too cloudy. And honestly, I think we could have pushed it a little further. Also way too much height damage here. Same here. Yeah. Look at a different render. I'm trying to. It's not really singing to me. It looks you know, the tan version, I didn't want you guys to like fall into just like matching a reference one to one. I wanted you guys to get kind of creative with it and kind of do your own thing. And this, I'm not really liking this because the overall picture kind of reads like, or the overall textures kind of read like, how do I put it? Kind of just like mud. It kind of just reminds me of like a puddle of mud. The colors, I don't really see how this is like. Where's my? Let me pull up a reference. One thing I did not do was include Give me 2 seconds. Shout out to Atlantic Firearms. So, like, when I see this, is the reference up? Yeah. Like, I can see it's a very clear, obvious Cerakote paint job, whatever, you know. But when I look at this, I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's a paint job. I don't know if it's there's also not a whole lot of material separation, but we'll talk about that. There's no clear indication of like how it was made, you know. I'm not really a fan of how we handled this version, to be honest. Looks like a gun from Stalker. Yeah, it's a very beat up, I'd say. Yeah. So, another thing I'll say about it is we're lacking in the material separation department. For example, the sight post looks identical to all the other materials. Even though this material is welded on, you know, it'd look pretty cool if this was like a slightly darker or a slightly lighter material. Also, these 3 guys, same material. I'm not really a fan of how we did the mag. It looks a little too cloudy, I think. Too cloudy, too random. Kind of the same thing with the colors. We're using like a grunge for the color, and that kind of doesn't really look that great, I don't think. Yeah, I think I would have liked to see more like a brighter tan, maybe. This looks very close to like the black base version, and it looks a little boring, I think. I think we could have done a bit more. Looking at this, I'm not a fan of what's going on here. It looks like normal map errors or like bubbling paint. Hey, what's up, Bearworks? How you doing? Looks kind of flat and a little too shiny here compared to all of this noise. Makes me believe that this thing is like absolutely ancient, whereas the muzzle is very, you know, very clean. Not a fan of how how strong this kind of grunge dirt is. I feel like we used a dirt generator here to get that. I'm not really a fan of that. I see like some sort of a seam here. This piece feels like a copper pipe, something that I would find in like my bathroom under my sink. You know, it doesn't. I think you're going for like the rusted version that I did, and I'm not really seeing that. Seeing, you know, excuse me, voice crack. Rust. An important thing to know about rust is not metallic. Rust is not metallic at all. I believe a dialectic, as I believe they call it. Good. How can I get in on feedback? You can join the Discord and then submit another challenge. That's how we do. That's how we do our feedback around here. Too many random scratches, I think. I think that's a theme of tonight. You know, too many random scratches. Also, maybe overly sharpened too. Yeah, I think we need to do kind of dial back on some of this kind of random grunge in the height and in the specs. I think we need to dial back on that a lot and kind of stick with some stencils or try to focus on the references a bit more, because I can see, you know, from these references, it doesn't have this like super fine grunge. It's got large chipping, then it's got some subtle scuffing, you know, going on here, and then a lot of nice Then a lot of really nice gloss breakup that helps sell the rubber. It's not just random grunge. Keep that in mind. This bolt looks absolutely ancient. Um, you know, if you tone down the noise here, this part here would look almost perfect, I think. Maybe some of these scratches can go and the linear edge generator's gotta go, but it would look it would get pretty close. Edge generator is here as well. I'm not sure if this piece is supposed to be that metallic, but kind of the same feedback on the other one. Dial back on some of this. Too much noise overall is just kind of making it look very super dirty, super ancient. Not really sure what else to say about this one. I will say I like the material, how it's reading here. I like the worn out shapes there. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Also, be careful going too glossy on polymer. It looks like wet and gross. Let's try to find your best render here. This render right here is really nice. This render is also nice. This right here is your best render for sure. Thank you, Jose. I appreciate it. Thank you for participating. And so we'll have to join one. Yeah, go for it. It's a good time. It's a good time. All right, Nikita. Let's see what you've got. Nikita Gritskevich. I like that name. Cool. This is cool. I think you got too much color, too much white specks. Not sure how realistic that is. Also, this dirt here looks a little cloudy. Let me organize this guy real quick. Whoops, that's not what that worked. Just so we can look at them in sections. This is looking real good. Ooh. Very nice. This lighting on this piece right here is just about perfect. Really nice job on this. Oh, what's up, Shooter? Yeah, it's been a long time, man. Been very busy. You're doing all right, dude. Yeah, this piece right here. Woo! Oh man, it's gonna be a tough one to top. Whilst du bist der Lod. Der Tod. Someone translate that. I want to know what that means. Plus 500 social credit here. This one's looking pretty good. Do I use plasticity? Yes, I use plasticity. Quite frequently, actually. This material. I don't like this. Ah, this piece is so nice. Although I think I can tell you mirrored it. Yeah, I can tell you mirrored it. I don't think I mirrored it in the keys. It's been so long since I did this thing. Really nice wear here. Saving scene. Okay. Get out of here. There we go. Really nice color shift here. Ooh, this is nice. I think you should have gone darker and more matte, I think. Is it worth spending the coin on? Yes, definitely. Yeah, I am not a fan of this going on here. It's looks like you painted it on and then used a multiply on top. I'm not really sure what it's supposed to be either. I assume some like dust coming up from the ground. Really a fan of that. The lighting is not helping you out here. Yeah, the lighting is looking pretty flat in some of these areas. I see the material separation you got going on here. I think it's just too strong. It's like a little too much. Get a good look at that barrel. Oh, there we go. Good stuff. Personally, I think you should have gone a little bit more like matted or something. It kind of just it's kind of reading like a plastic almost a little bit. Um, I think some of this like uh, not really a fan of how the white like speckled grunge is being handled. I think everything feels very glossy. I think you should have toned down on some. I can see a nice separation here. See a scratch kind of going across here. Careful for that. You have some really nice color separation. Um, One thing I'll say about the tape is I'm not sure about this grid pattern. It feels a little fake. I don't really know what kind of tape this is supposed to be. I like the strong use of oils here. Nice. Let's take a look at this version. Nice job. Pretty good. I like this. I like this. Pretty cool looking. Although me personally, I would have like removed it a little more in the middle just to kind of add like that storytelling element, you know. Also some more wear on the bipod to really show that it's been used. One thing I'll say is that the wear is very binary. It's either no wear or full wear. There's no areas where it's like softly worn off, you know? Like here on the grip, you know, you'd be holding this for a while, so I mean, I can understand why it would have a lot of this, you know, perfect wear. But also, where's this like subtle wear? Where's the subtle stuff? It's either there or it's not, you know. I'd rather see some subtle stuff. I think the base version that you made is a little better, personally. Um, like some of these wear shapes are really cool. I like that one. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to see some more softer wear. Pretty good. Pretty cool. I do like the little interlocking mesh that you got spray painted over. I think that's pretty cool. And I like the colors too. I think um maybe you could have introduced more like disorder in the stripes because right now they look kind of very perfect and evenly spaced. Maybe like have one stripe get cut thinner, one stripe gets a little thicker, it comes like that, you know. That'd have been cool. It makes it feel more like makeshift, you know. Also, one thing I'll say is one really cool um, sort of thing you could do in the areas where it's harder to reach, like say here. I would just remove the paint from there, honestly, because I mean, it just adds like that next level like storytelling element of this person spray painted this, but they couldn't, but they did it very makeshift and you know, getting in these crevices. Excuse me. Could be kind of hard to do. So you even just use a dirt generator for that. But like here, I would have totally just removed the paint from there. Yeah, very cool stuff. I like this text wear you got going on here. I think some of these scratches feel a little fake. Plastic's got a nice read to it. Nice, nice separation in the normal maps, I'd say. I will say, I think the mag could use a bit more work. It feels very different compared to the references. It feels like a painted black metal. Maybe it's the lighting or something. It's not really reading like it does in the references. All right. I think that's all I got. Very nice work. Really nice stuff. First, I think let's find it. I think this is your best render because like this piece right here looks so good. Cha-ching. Thank you, Nikita. Let's move on to Vinnie Damiani. All right. So right off the bat, I'm not sure what's going on here. These scratches are... I know where you got these from. I would toss those. Focus a little bit more on the reference there. Also, your gloss is feeling very cloudy. I'm really a fan of how you have the grain and then you just like perfectly removed it with like an edge generator. Looks pretty fake. I'm not really a fan of that. It also makes it feel super worn when your textures aren't reading as very worn. I would toss these. They're kind of random. Very flat right here. Whatever details you got going on here, they're not reading. The speckle stuff is not looking too great. I can see you got some sort of an edge generator here. It looks pretty low resolution. Toss that. Something's not right with the PBR on this piece, I don't think. Like almost reading pitch black in this lighting. Whereas other parts are reading super bright. Edge generator. Edge generator here. We gotta stop using that. Yeah, this is the edge generator is being used as a crutch here. Remove the red. Now let's get a little closer. The text feels very thick compared to what it's what I see in the reference. Looks like you got snow or something going on here. Yeah, we gotta work on this material. It's not reading quite right. Something's right, not right with the PBR. All of this speckle detail is feeling very random, very grungy. A lot of stencil work is like coming to mind when I see this. Yeah, voice crack. All this stuff is feeling very random. You've got the you know, the milling lines, but they don't stand out in the height, so they can't really do much. They don't do anything. Like this surface is just completely flat all the way across. This piece, kind of the same as the other ones. I'd like to see it less. Not just because it's plastic doesn't mean it needs to have the plastic grunge to it, you know. Or edge generator that we gotta toss. The bolt looks very incomplete. Looks think we need to stick to the references here. This text looks very dirty. It's just very clean. You know, there's no details around the welding that I made. It's very just pristine when the bolt is probably one of the dirtiest parts. Yeah, this speckling is not looking very realistic for guns. Or edge generator. Or edge generator. Every single one of these is worn out the exact same way, which just looks kind of boring. Taking a look at the magazine. It's like oddly green, and it's not quite reading properly. I don't know if you have like a green light or something going on, but it's the details on it are very cloudy. It doesn't look like we're using any stencils. Looks like just kind of default painter grunges, which is unfortunate. Let's take a look at your color. Actually, let's reference render. You've got like a nice color separation, but ooh, I'm not really a fan of the dirt going on here. It's like all blending together right here. It's a little too much. Material here is too smooth and too glossy. Same here, too smooth, too glossy. Just looks very flat. Take a look at your colored version here. This render is way overexposed, blowing out your textures here. So here I can see that you've got like the band, the height going underneath it, but it's too weak. Doesn't pick up in the render that well. Here it looks a little better, but I mean, I would have added more details, like some dirt or something to help sell that a little bit more, because I can kind of just tell that it's like two rectangles kind of just colliding. Be careful for total white when you render. It's a good indicator that it's overexposed. I will say you have some cool wear shapes like here. This one's cool. Kind of the same as the other one, you know, it's too binary. It's either here or it's not. Not really a fan of that. What and when is the next challenge? It'll be announced soon. But it's a modeling challenge, so we'll be making a model from start to finish. Not really a fan of how you handled the wavy grid lines. It looks like you tiled down a warp filter or a warp filter. Okay, it just doesn't feel organic. Like if I bought a mesh screen to put over my gun to spray paint, the mesh screen wouldn't wobble like this. Like this is like a factory error. Like one of the wobbliest screens I've ever seen. Also, you're planar projecting it. I can see that. Looks bad. I would have set it to triplanar. I think that would have fixed that pretty easily. Yeah, overexposed. Very overexposed. Yeah, that's about all I can say. Some of this wear, I'm not really sure I like it. It's I don't know what's wrong with it. To be honest, it's just not my cup of tea. It looks like a lava lamp. Everything's very rounded. You would never really see that on something like this. Should be pretty sharp. I feel like here is very good, but here it gets like very rounded, lobby. What's up, Ollie? How you doing, bro? Same thing here. Not really a fan of how this wear was handled. I think that's all I got. Yeah, this detail is like too worn. I don't know what it's supposed to be. But, yeah, overall, try texturing, no generators. That you will see so much more improvement in the way that you think of things. Um, it's holding you back. It's a crutch. The industry doesn't use them as much as you'd think. I think this is your best render right here. Lighting here looks pretty sweet. All right, let's move on. We're almost halfway done. Thank you, Vinnie. Best girl. Let's check out what best girl's got going on. Do some organization here. This render looks familiar. Good stuff. Sure how I feel about that detail. Huh. Yeah, chillin', chillin'. What's your advice for polymer texturing? Don't make it look too wet and gross. Study the reference. A lot of different references. I'm not really a fan of this milling effect, honestly. It's like, I don't know what it is about it, but it doesn't look right. Something about it is just, I'm not really sure how to explain it. You got some sort of an edge generator. It almost looks like it's going the wrong way. The milling lines looks like they're popping out. I feel like they should pop in. You know. I think you went too colored on. Like the colors are almost stronger than every color on the gun. Doesn't really blend in that well. Check out some other areas. Hmm. These are some interesting like dirt shapes, but they feel kind of like they're a filler kind of put on there. I'm not really a fan of. Looks like this was like stenciled in, but it was like textured in like splotches. I'd like to see some more like subtle stuff to help tie it in. You say it's doable to land a job if you only got one? No, I don't. I don't think. How bad is the job market right now for people trying to get into gaming? Well, think of it this way: people with senior experience are applying for junior jobs, so it's pretty bad. So if you want to get a junior job, you gotta get kind of lucky. Um, excuse me. Yeah, this height was done really well. It looks very nicely blended in very nicely because you got when you start doing wear on top of your normals, that's when you see so much like cohesion. It looks really nice. Very nicely done. Kind of the same thing as the other mags. I'm not sure if we'd put brushing on it, but looks like you handled the surface nicely, so I'm not going to complain. Pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not really sure if I'm a fan of how you're handling kind of like this like mud splattering stuff. Hmm. It's okay. No, is that bad? Yeah, I mean, you know, if a senior gets laid off at a studio, which is very common, They gotta put money on the table, you know. They're also gonna starve. Why not apply for a junior role? You know. Not sure I like this like brushing going on here. I don't think I saw that. Not sure if I saw that in any references. What else can I say about this? You know, it's I think one thing I'll say is that the textures, they're very standard. They're pretty good. Um it's there's some like injection molds here on some of the references included. And there's like some stuff here I think too. It's very standard. It doesn't really like have any details that kind of stand out as like whoa. You know, I think you could have added maybe like some of this coloring, some of this burning effect going on here. That would have looked pretty nice. I don't think many people added any like denting in the magazine either. These are like some key details that I think were kind of missing that help it stand out. What happened with the industry? They hired a shitload of people during COVID, and then we are now feeling the effects of it. Layoffs are good to lower wages because people get desperate. Uh, I wouldn't say that's a good thing, but I would have separated out the material here a little bit more. I feel like I don't like this detail because there's no like other details surrounding it. It's like there's like you slapped mud on this thing only in this one area, and then that was kind of it, you know. Nice use of oils, nice oils and stuff. Maybe a little too much on the scratching, a little too much on the mud. Take a look at the color version. Too much height in the paint. Already when I look at it, I think there's just too much height going on. Ooh, a lot of scratchy, a lot of fine detail. I think we could have done a little bit better with balancing some of the micro details and some of the macro details. This render's blown out. Or overexposed a little bit. I can tell we're using grunge underscore wipe underscore brushed here. I'm sure I'm a fan of what's going on there. Or there. I like that you got some areas with like softer wear, some like little brushing, but not sure how realistic the brushing is. Really sure. Um, it looks kind of cool, but you know, kind of the same thing as the other ones. You know, I'd have liked to see this as painted. Like it feels kind of weird that it stopped right there, but maybe just like oops, it's a lot of like softer wear. Check this one out. Also, I think you should have done more with the colors. So, oftentimes when you're spray painting something, you know, I can see you kind of got like a noise kind of dithering out. But I think you could have added some more like splotches and stuff on the outsides to sell that it was like a haphazard painting job, you know, like they dripped paint on it or something, you know. Something to help spice it up just a little bit. Also, I would have darkened some of the areas of heavy usage and like kind of got this thing going on here, but too much purlin noise here. But like darken up the barrel where it gets burned and got canned earlier. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, dude. Sorry to hear that. It's in a rough state right now. Yeah, I think just a lot of the scratching stuff feels kind of random. I'd rather see it like build up in areas where it would like your finger would like naturally kind of scratch it. I don't know. A little hard to explain. But it's not bad. It's pretty good. I'm not really sure what's going on with the red here. That's supposed to be rust. Huh. Yeah, the red. Not a fan of that. Also, we're floating here. Not bad. I feel like it could be better though. I feel like it could have been a lot better. I do like this area looks cool. It's got like a nice, it's got like a nice specular read to it. It looks pretty cool. But all right, let's find your best render. I think this is your best render right here. Thank you, best girl. Let's move on to Gnome CGI, Alex. All right. Let's go ahead and organize this one. Basically fired the team and didn't even pay what they owed. Oh man. Always the corpos, man. So right off the bat, we're rendering a little too bright here. Watch out, whenever you got total white highlights like this, it's a good indicator that you're blown out. And this is all blown out. Very blown out. It almost looks like you got some like blue, or maybe it's the lighting here, but I would have gone a little bit more matte, a little bit more black with the textures here. Be careful with this huge oil stain. It's very dark, very black. My eye is drawn to it, but like not in a good way. It's very, just much too strong. Yeah, something's pretty off about this metal material. It's reading like plastic metal. It's got like the shine and smoothness of a plastic, but like the details of a metal. These details here feel a little fake. Looks like you went full metal for the barrel. Don't think that was a good call. Should have been like a painted metal based on the references, and then kind of a lot of metallic wear on it, I think. Let's take a look at the plastic, how you handle the plastic. Okay, so I can tell that you used purlin noise in the height channel. That's not really ideal. The height channel is cool, but the normal map channel is kind of where you want to put base underlying details like that. You know, you've got some nice wear in here in the numbers or the letters. Careful not to go too glossy on the plastics, or else it looks like wet and kind of gross. Be careful for metal edge tracing. Careful with making wear too speckly too. Like if you put too much purlin noise over it, it just looks a little fake. Always. Earth 2 was the company. Aren't those the people that tried to like sell Earth as an NFT? Yeah, I don't really See how that's. Well, I'm sorry they went under, but I mean that's. The NFT craze is long gone. Um, See, you've got like some radial stuff here. I'm not sure if this is a piece that I'd like radial brush. I feel like we could have differentiated some of the noises. The noise here feels the same as the noise here. Feels the same as the noise here, which feels like a more tiled up version of this noise. Not really a fan of that. I would toss those. Try to. So when you're looking at references, try to take a look at how the highlight reacts to it. So this highlight is super sharp and narrow, making me believe that it's very glossy. Whereas if we take a look at the highlight here, well, it's very fat, and that gives us an indicator that it's very not shiny, very matte. Same here with the rubber. This is a very sharp highlight right here. But if we take a look, we can see how fat this highlight is. Pay attention to the highlights when you're taking. Let's take a look at the color version. I will say, I am a fan of how you'd handled a lot of this. And I've seen the reference where you got this from. I actually used this reference one time. Cool stuff. I think you went a little too orange. So the paint, I would have gone a lot more matte. So this is looking green. Looking like kind of some alien slime. I think you have some bad color mixing going on here. I will say I'm a big fan of how you handled this. This is really nicely done. The breakup here is very nice. Good job with that. I will say I would have made these the same color. Just because, you know, to help unify materials and keep them. Oh, shit, I like poked myself. Keep materials together. I would have made them the same color and textured them kind of similarly. I would have made this like an OD green. Would have looked pretty cool. Hey, with the bipod, I wish you had colored the bipod. Not really a fan of whatever's going on here. I'm not quite sure what this is supposed to be. And then I think the muzzle is not PBR correct and a little too colorful. Yeah, some of these feel really dark. A little too dark. This is a pretty good render right here. Looks like something from Modern Warfare. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here with the group. Be a fan of that. On the mag, it looks cool, but you've got this like perfect stripe of color of paint there, and like the perfect edge generator. I would have just taken like my jerry can stencil or something, and just gone and just done one smooth paint stroke right here, and it would have taken care of that. I think some of these little hairs are too fine, too small. But cool, pretty cool looking. I think that's about all I got. I will say I like the wear you got here. Pretty cool. I feel like some of this is like overly sharpened, maybe. Yeah, I think my advice to you is to maybe step back and look at some tutorials. We're kind of missing some of the key elements that make really good texturing, like some of the gloss breakup. It all feels very glossy. Differentiating the normal map and stenciling in details. Thank you, Dr. Fishy. I appreciate it, dude. Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, some of the wear you got here looks pretty nice. Also, for the plastic, you could have added a little bit more chipping here. Some chipping here, here. Some of the exposed areas, like here. I think I added some chipping there in mine. Anyways. All right, let's move on. Let's find your best render. I really like the lighting on this render. That's gonna be your best one right there. Cha-ching! Good job, dude. Thank you for participating. Sahasa. Not Sasha, Sahasa. 1212. Welcome to the Thunderdome. I am going to fill up my water. I will be right back. I'm just a teenager. All right, let's take a look at this one from Sahasa. Why am I even wearing headphones? I'm taking that shit off. All right. Ooh, ooh. Cool. Cool, cool. Ooh. Number one. Oh. Cool. I think there's like too much no, it wasn't. I saw like a smudge here. I was like, what is that? It's just my glasses. I think there's too much micro detail to support not a lot of macro details. I think it's like kind of too micro detailing for my taste. Number one, is that foreshadow? Could be. Could very well be. I like the little color shift you got here. It might just be a shadow, but looks cool. Lighting here is too direct right on top of pointing straight down onto the model, I think. Pretty good, pretty good. It looks cool, but there's no like key details that I want to look at. It's kind of just, my eye is kind of just like bouncing all over this thing. Some random little details here. Not a lot of people focus, I posted the reference, or my reference that I used when I textured this thing. Not a lot of people used it, I think. It had a lot of really good detailing that you could have added. I'm not really sure what went on there. This detail here, I'm not liking that. This okay. Looking a little cloudy. This is okay. It's looking like kind of random grungy. Kind of random and grungy, I think. I would have liked to see some like oils coming up here, more shape to the wear. It kind of just feels a little random. Same here with this stuff. Feels like a fill layer with like a high contrast onto it. Not a lot of detailing going on here. Not really a fan of how these details are being handled. Also, we're missing some of the key details from the references. So a lot of this like coloring and stuff here. Those are some pretty cool details that even if you're going for like a different version of the gun, it's still it's still something to give it more visual interest. as opposed to just kind of black metal. You know, every gun is just black metal. You know, I think it's these days I push away from references quite a lot because I want to see details like. You have any advice for getting freelance clients? I don't know. I don't really do freelance, so too much height here on these things. Um, Never stop posting on Twitter again. Yeah, too much height on these things. I will say, I think you have a cohesive amount of wear. I'll say, looks pretty nice. The grain on this looks a little generic. I think. Same here. I don't like the plastic grain you got. Looks a little too generic. Almost like purlin noise in the height kind of stuff. Exactly the platform I ignored. Yeah, Twitter, you can get a lot of Robloxians on there that are always looking to pay pennies for models and stuff. But, I will say I like what you got going on here. There's some good stuff here. I like that you dialed back on the grunge on this one. Something about the surface like feels almost too smooth. Like here especially. It's kind of getting a little bit of a pletal feel, you know. Whoa, big helicopter coming over. Taking the whole apartment. Big helicopter. Probably a Chinook or something. Anyways, um, some linear edge wear. Yeah, I feel like some like key big areas of wear would be nice, you know. I'm missing that. Also here, linear edge wear as well. This looks pretty bad. I'm not sure what you were trying to do with this stuff, but I'm really not a fan of it. Also, in a lot of the references, they have a radial brush going on around here, which I would have added. I would have added that as well. Nice, nice fun detail to add. I like some of the color shift you got going on here. Pretty cool. Maybe toss some of these like micro random scratches. All right, let's move on to the color version. So already I'm kind of looking at this paint. It looks like my wall right next to me. It kind of got like the drywall stucco kind of look to it. Kind of the same thing here on the magazine. It almost doesn't really feel like tan. It kind of feels like a dirt paint or something. Not really a fan of how he did this edge wear. It's kind of just a linear with a warp with a multiply on top of it. Yeah, I'd like to see some like paint chipping, some more interesting details to look at, to kind of give us some more storytelling and some more like of an idea of how this material was applied. I think. Not really a fan of this white speckling throughout. A little much. Little much. Like I can't really tell if this is like a paint job or if it was like coated like this from the factory. Also, I'd be careful about these little like stars. Careful about those. They look kind of CG. Yeah, some of these areas look like really perfect. By that I mean like no wear, no grunge applied to it. Also, I feel like I'd rather see this applied around than kind of the grungy stuff that you have here. Um, Overall looks cool. I think the black version is better. Um, yeah, I kind of wanted you guys to push the creativity a little more. I feel like it's a little too basic. Also, I'm not sure this render, like the saturation got like nuked. That doesn't look. Um, that's all I got. About all I got. Also, some of this orange stuff is, but pretty good. Good. I think overall you have some like nicer material breakups. It's kind of noticeable, but I think it could have been pushed a little more. But overall, pretty solid stuff. Let's find your best render. This is definitely your best render. Cha-ching. Number one render. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I think that's about all I got for that one. So good job, dude. Thank you for participating. All right, next up we've got OffVes, and let me do some quick organizing. Just realized, are you cropping two renders into one? I guess there's no rule against that, but it feels a little scummy when everyone else is submitting 10 renders. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a fan of that. All right. Feels a little cheating, honestly. All right, let's take a look. Looks pretty cool. Pretty cool. I feel like we could have done more to like make this read as a rubber. It just kind of looks like the same as what we did here. Like black with like this white grunge on it. Um, I don't like the wear in the text. I don't think that's how it's supposed to be. Some of these wear shapes look pretty cool. Pretty cool. I think you're kind of overdoing it still with like the different. You're pushing like this like black and white noise. I don't really think it's working all that great. It's reading like plastic, but it's reading as like, I don't know, nuclear war zone plastic. Um, I like how you have some like nice key wear areas to look at. That's pretty nice. I crop. I don't know. It really does feel like cheating that you put these images in there. I'm not gonna lie. I should have noticed that. Yeah. Let's do this. All right, whatever. Um, yeah, it looks pretty cool. A lot of the grunge feels a little random. A lot of this noise and grunge and stuff is a little too strong, I think. The muzzle being this gray feels kind of weird too. What does it say? At GPT. All right, let's look at the colored version. Pretty cool. I probably would have chosen a different background than white to help it stand out a little bit more, but I like that you've got some nice painted stuff. Yeah, you've got some nice detailing here. It looks pretty nice. Looks pretty good. I would have done the magazine something. That feels like kind of a missed opportunity. It looks pretty cool, but I don't really like how you did these stripes. Like, it almost feels just like you painted it and then like smudged off, like rubbed your thumb on this area a lot, you know? Doesn't really feel intentional. Also, a lot of this detail just kind of feels like cement. I feel like it looks cool, but yeah, I'd say it looks pretty cool. Pretty cool. I do like the nice color separation here. That's some nice stuff. Go back up here. Some of these renders have kind of weird lighting. I don't. Here we go. Oh, here's a nice close. This area looks cool, but it doesn't really match kind of the references that I'm seeing. Like it looks cool, but you know, the HK has this very specific sort of color stuff going on that I think I would have liked to see a bit more. This rubber here feels very smooth and very flat. Um, yeah, from certain angles, the noise just is too much. The magazine looks cool. Although it's the same material, it looks like, as here. So I think we could have done a bit more to push those materials a bit more. The tape thingy is tape residue, whatever you want to call it, looks pretty nice. I do like some of the cavity dust you added. It looks really cool. Yeah, I think that's about all I got. Yeah, I'm gonna make it a rule. We can't be doing this. This is cheating. But good work nonetheless. Let's move on. All right, let's organize here. Take a look. Ooh. Nice. Very nice. This is Andre. Oh, I didn't do the best render. I think this render's pretty good. Probably the best one. All right, let's move on to Andre. Got one more after this. Green rim light. Not sure if I like the direction of this brushing. It kind of bothers me almost. I think we could have done more with the colors here instead of just having this piece be solid red. You know, just having it be red here and then like a gradient outwards maybe, or build up here. I think that would have been a little cooler. The plastic is real nice. I'll say the plastic is real nice. Very nice job done. Very nice job on that. Ooh, this render's pretty good. I will say maybe we could have gone darker for this metal. It is a pretty black material. And I would have tossed the red stuff. Pretty cool. Almost feels like this polymer is like too dark. Almost. Kind of the same feedback as I gave earlier. I'd like to see this as a different plastic compared to one of these. Maybe like a softer rubbery plastic or something. But yeah, the bolt looks cool. I think one thing that OffVes did nicely was some key details with like a lot of with something kind of nice and interesting to look at. I think we could have added some of that here. We've got some nice areas. It's just for how old this gun is, I'd expect a little more, personally. I wish we got a nice render of the stock. We don't get to see the stock at all. Did I miss one, maybe? Nope, no renders with the stock. Okay. That's cool. He had some nice use of oils. He probably could have done more oils around here, maybe. That would have been cool. I also like to put oils on where the trigger comes out too. Just me. But I do like the color separation you gave it. Looks cool. I am liking how you did the mag. The mag looks pretty sweet. You can see you've got some denting going on. Nice and readable. Pretty sweet. Red rim light. Okay. How I feel. I think this material is good. I think it's pretty good. I'm not sure if I do brushing on all these surfaces. Brushing here probably. Might look better to do like I don't know, just not brushing, you know. It makes it feel very modern when this gun really isn't very modern. It's a pretty old gun. Same here. Maybe just toss the brushing here, maybe. To give it like a to vary up some of the surfaces because I think you have a little bit too much brush. And then maybe, you know, you could add some oils here to like separate out some parts. That'd have been cool. But then maybe some more dirt to show usage on the handle or on the pistol grip. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. I think that's about all I got, really. Yeah. Don't see any like obvious generators or anything, so that's nice. Pretty cool. Take a look at the color version. Version's nice and clean. I like this. Cool. I would have probably scaled this up. The mesh. Also, I'm not a fan of the difference in scales. It makes it it just makes it feel not natural. Like the scale of the hexagons here versus the scale here and here. It makes it feel kind of unnatural. Also, there's no hexagons on this side. I'd like to see some on this side. Here we can get a little good view of the stock. Not sure if this is lighting, but I'm not sure what these guys are. For a render like this, I'd make sure to like DOF out the background. Also, I think what you did was you got some Quixel rocks, then you duplicated it and then rotated it so it made like a backdrop. Interesting way of doing it. It just feels kind of flat, I think, as well. And it looks like it was very perfectly painted on and then just very subtly worn. I think it would have looked more interesting if it was very haphazardly painted in. Like, take a look at OffVes and get some ideas. Like some of this, like shitty paint detail, you know, like they really struggled to paint it, you know. I do like how you scratched out the logo. That's always fun to do. A little too edge tracy here. I'd expect, you know, if I was really holding, excuse me. If I was really like holding this thing a lot, it wouldn't just wear on the edges, it would wear on this whole section. Also, the bolt should get a lot more wear on it if you're gonna paint the bolt. Usually they would never paint the bolt, but sin. And then tone down the chromatic aberration, probably. It's like hurts to. Oh. It's like making me dizzy, kind of looking at it. Too much. Too much. It's cool. I think it's cool. You got a perfect like edge here, though. Maybe break that up a little bit more. Yeah, and then just throw in some like more creative, like haphazardly painted details. You know, I think that's what I would have done. Yeah, that's what I would have did. Yeah, that's realistic. Yeah, but overall, you know, this polymer plastic is go-to. Really nice. Yeah, really nice stuff there. I think that's about all I got for you. Thank you, dude. Appreciate you participating. And yeah, this will look pretty cool on ArtStation. All right, best render, best. That's a good one. This is also a good one too. Glass really shines on. So does this one though. So this is your best render. I like it. I will say this little area here is pretty creative as well. But it feels a little flat, a little boring. But anyways, let's move on. We got Roderick Crespo. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. Like some of the details we got. I like it. Maybe a little too. Maybe the render. I think the lighting is a little off, but maybe a little too glossy on the plastic. Maybe polymer. We could have followed a reference a bit more to get some of the rubber damage to look a little bit nicer. The gloss, some of the dirt details to look a little nicer as well. I like how you added some scratches to this corner. It is kind of like a protruding little piece. I like that a lot. Let me organize. Cool, cool. Just 6 renders. 8 renders total. Right. That's no problem. This should say F and E or whatever it is. Yeah, F, E, and S here. If we're going by the book. I can tell these are the default painter arrows there. How do I feel about this? I like this area. This is like a key area that I'm looking at on these textures. I like that. I like this because it has a nice like contrasted areas. That's pretty nice. Toss the red. What? Did I do like red stuff? Or is there like red stuff in the red? Or in the reference? Yeah, I'd probably toss some of the red stuff. It looks a little fake. I stopped doing it as well in my like texturing work. I just don't like. I don't know where it comes from. It looks cool, but I just stopped doing it. Me personally. Me personally. I like the dust you got. I think the dust is kind of like an incorrect color almost. I feel like it should be like a little lighter and less saturated. Not sure what this is. I don't know if this is supposed to be rust or something else. But it's reading like copper piping or something underneath. Nice subtle details here. I think maybe you went a bit too glossy on this. We're kind of seeing like a mirror of the HDRI a little bit when we zoom in there. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just oils there. Ooh. You kind of like what you got going on here. That's pretty unique. I haven't seen a lot of that. Pretty cool. Cool. I think the height on this feels a little generic. This is an interesting render. Like Anakin versus Obi-Wan or something. Not sure what the red lighting or wear is. Not really a fan of that. Yeah, I like this stuff. It's like nice. It's pretty creative. I like it. Not really a fan of what's going on here. I do like this wear, however. Good stuff there. Same there. Looks like. I will say you have some really nice wear. Looks cool. I'm kind of struggling to come up with ways that I would change this. I like it. I'm not really a fan of this render. The lighting is a little off. Nice dirt, nice dirt. I feel like the lighting is blowing it out a little bit. It feels very like kind of gray. I feel like it should be a bit darker in the base color. Same here. I think the lighting is like directly pointing down on it. I'd be careful with that. That's how you blow out your textures instantly. Like it. I like it. I think I would have, looking at this reference, there's a really strong dirt down here. I think I would have added more, personally. Ooh, crunch. I think what you could do a bit better is, you know, kind of the same thing as these like strong dirts here. I'd like more context. Maybe not context, but maybe just more built-in dirt, built-up dirt in areas. I think that could look cool. Stencil it in too. Stuff like this looks great. Take a look at the color version. Ooh, hiccups. Plus 500 social credit. Although I don't think I'd ever see like a plain white sticker that where you have to draw on it. But anyways, here looks like the wear of this kind of changed and it kind of became. It kind of became a little worse than what you had. This stuff feels kind of random, a little too strong, too much grain. Not really separated out from the plastic enough, I don't think. Some of this stuff feels too splotchy. I wish it was like more cohesive. Here, here, and here. Duct tape looks, I think this is duct tape, but you're missing the vertical line. Duct tape has a very key height pattern because right now it just looks like horizontal stripes. Also, I really like that you built up really nicely. Maybe scale up some of these folds. It makes the tape feel a little flat. Also, I'm not sure if this is the right size for duct tape. I think it should be just like slightly thin. Like right there. A little more. Ooh, these scratches are looking good. Not a fan. I feel like we kind of we kind of downgraded a little bit from this version. You could have just carried over a lot of the wear into this version. That's what I personally would have done. But it feels like we kind of added some stuff that doesn't look too great. I do like this stuff, but the rust I think is too strong. I feel like it should be toned down just a little bit. I do like the disorder in the way the stripes were painted. That's very nice. Some of this color stuff is getting a little splotchy as well, a little random. And there's some like details here that's like kind of blurry looking. I'm not a fan of this or this. I think you use the same stencil. At least it looks. Yeah, it looks like you got like you're doing like a mesh thing, but it's like really blurry. Looks like I'm not really sure how I describe it, but I don't like it. I'd rather see like it doesn't really feel intense. That makes sense. I like the wear you got. You got some areas of like subtle wear, big wear, maybe a little too much rust. The mag looks a lot dirtier now. The tape feels pretty bright. Actually, one thing I'll say about the tape, it doesn't read like duct tape. Duct tape is slightly metallic, so keep that in mind. Unless this is some sort of special tape that I haven't seen. Also, I will say these plastics are looking very flat now compared to what they were here. Get a nice gloss to them. These don't feel like they were painted. They feel like they came from a factory that way. And I feel like we could have just pushed the gloss a bit. Make them a bit more shine. That's all I got. Alright. I think this is your best round. This is pretty creative. Thank you, Roderick. That is it. Oh, we did it. 2 hours. 2 hours and we did it. Ooh. Man. Ooh. All right. Who do we think is the winner? What do you guys think? Who do you guys think is the winner? I'm gonna put a triangle over people I think did exceptional. Work just stood out a little bit more. Sahasa. I think this one could have been a little better. OffVes, I think OffVes will go up there. Three will go up there. And then I think we will do. I think we'll do one more. I think we'll do one more. We'll do a fourth place. Did we get this? Okay. Is this the really noisy one? Yeah, this is the. I think we'll get Roderick in there. 3. It's 4 right off the rip. All right, I think we got our winner. Yeah, I think the winner of this one's gonna be OffVes. Although, let's not crop renders and fit them into more pictures next time, because that is cheating. But overall, I think the textures are a little overdone, but some nice interesting wear and some nice I think it adds a nice little flavor to the gun. Yeah. Congratulations, OffVes, for 1. With you will get your feedback session with Cohen Brawley. Okay, let's take a look at number 2. Second place. Second place is going to go to either, I think, Nikita or Andre. I think Roderick, we're going to go ahead and give Roderick 4th place. All right, tie for 2nd, 3rd. All right. Color. Okay. Can I move them? Or is it going to make me like do this shit? So annoying. So annoying. What does this mean? Can anyone Google Translate that? Curious. I think I know it. I think I have our order. Seconds. Congratulations. Rammstein lyrics? No, because then they would say Du hast. I like Nikki's. Nikita's? Well, I think this is the correct order. I think this is the correct order of how we are judging it. So, what do you guys think? Is it rigged? What do you guys think? Everyone did pretty great on this. Everyone had something. Everyone did something very, very well. So, you know, I will say a lot of the people that asked for the texturing challenge didn't even end up doing it. By the way, you know who you are, but I'm not gonna hold that against you. Everyone did something great. Everyone did something great. Everyone has something they can work on the next one, I think. Um, yeah, the exile that blue fabric. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the blue, but contrasty. But how many renders are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there's 5 extra renders. But we'll have to make that a rule. I see that. Yeah, I guess I didn't notice that. Well, um, yeah, that's about it. Congratulations to the winners, Andre. I hope you're not based in Russia, so I can get you your Steam gift card. Hopefully later today, maybe. We'll be going to the store later, but yeah, congratulations, everyone. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for participating. This was the first texture challenge. We had 43 entries. 43 people that said they were going to do it, and then only 13 that complete or 12 that completed it, and then the rest were partial submissions. So, um, yeah, congratulations. No problem. Stick. Problem, dude. Anytime. No problem, bear. Time, dude. Um. Oh, you're best girl. Oh, hey, what's up, dude? Um. Yeah, very nice. I like this render you did. Cool stuff. Um. Yeah, thank you guys for participating. Next one will be coming up. It'll be a while before we do another texturing challenge. Maybe not even in the future. I don't know. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I gotta say. Um, I've been taking a break from doing weapon art. A lot of things going on in the personal life, so kind of getting a little bored of doing guns personally. So maybe I'm slowly feeling the itch, but I'm not gonna do like an AK or something. I wouldn't do that. I'm gonna do something a little different. But yeah, that's just where I'm at. Just an update on why I'm not. I don't really stream. I don't really found the enjoyment in streaming all that much. Besides doing these feedback sessions. Do a mech. That'd be a challenge. I do love mechs. But that's gonna end it there. But thank you guys all for participating, and I'll see you guys on the next one. See you guys later.